Ever get that feeling? Like a shift in the energy around you, some kind of hum in the air I don't know, you just can't explain.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, today we're diving deep into a place where people say those vibes, those subtle vibrations, they're anything but subtle.
We're talking Sedona, Arizona, right?
Sedona, Arizona, you got it.
Called the most beautiful place in America.
Mhm.
And I got to say, looking at pictures,
Mm.
those red rocks, those formations, it's easy to see why, right?
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
like the landscape itself is trying to tell you something. Like there's something more here, more than meets the eye.
And that's what we're going to dig into today. We've got firsthand accounts. People who say they felt those whispers turn into like a full-on shout, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Travel guides that read like some kind of mystical map. We've even got like attempts to explain it all scientifically.
it's really interesting what you said about those whispers turning into shouts. That brings up this idea of energy vortexes that Sedona
Uh,
is so famous for. But what does that even mean? Energy vortexes. It's a term we hear all the time.
right, good point. Okay, so picture this. Swirling centers of energy. Places where the line between, the physical world and something else gets kind of blurry. That's one way people describe it anyway.
Okay.
And they say these vortexes can really affect you. Some people say they suddenly feel super aware or crazy peaceful. Some even talk about physical sensations, like their skin tingles.
Yeah, I've heard that.
But not everyone feels it. One of
Uh,
the sources you sent, Astrid Clements, she wrote about going to Airport Mesa, big time vortex hotspot,
right.
and nothing. Crickets. She even laid down on the vortex, just waiting for, I don't know, a sign. Nothing doing.
It's like you're expecting that pot of water to boil, but you never actually turned on the stove.
Exactly.
It's funny. Despite that, Astrid went back to Sedona 3 more times.
Three more times? No way. After that first, non-event.
3 more times. Which tells me something else was going on, right?
Yeah, there's got to be something there.
Even without that big aha moment, something about Sedona just stuck with her. Could it be those subtle shifts in how she sees things, a stronger connection with nature, or maybe just the beauty of the place, working its magic?
Or could it be something else? Something we, or at least science as we know it, doesn't quite grasp yet.
Right.
Speaking of science, you included a book by, get this, an MIT graduate.
Oh, wow.
P.J. Sanders Jr., he's really studied Sedona's vortexes. His book's called Scientific Vortex Information, the free soul method. Catchy, right?
Catchy.
Anyway, he says he can actually detect these vortexes and map them out using, like, scientific instruments.
Interesting.
He even has specific techniques to, interact with the vortexes, supposedly to, like, enhance their effects.
See, that's not a perspective you hear every day about something like energy vortexes, something that seems so, I don't know, intangible. Makes you wonder if maybe there's a way to actually measure this stuff, to quantify it. Maybe there's something there we just haven't figured out how to, put our finger on yet.
It's like to understand the present, you got to look at the past, Like way before Sedona was the spot for like New Agers and spiritual retreats and all that, it was sacred ground. Still IS, actually.
Right?
For a bunch of Native American tribes, the Yavapai, the Tonto Apache, they've been there for centuries.
And their connection to that land is, well, it's profound. Ceremonies, rituals at these very specific spots. Many of them happen to be where people now say the vortexes are.
It's true. Like Cathedral Rock. I mean, that's got to be one of the most famous spots in Sedona.
Instantly recognizable.
Right. And it was a huge deal for their rituals. One source mentioned that, get this, the tribes believe that's a place where, like, the wall between the real world and the spirit world is paper thin,
Wow.
a place of serious energy. They even have these ceremonies, right, to connect with the spirits of, like, the land itself, their ancestors.
It's amazing how it all ties together. You've got this ancient belief system saying, hey, this land holds a powerful energy. And then all these years later, people are drawn to the exact same places, saying they feel that same energy, that same spiritual connection. Makes you wonder.
Are we talking about the same thing, just like seen through different lenses? Could these vortexes be some kind of echo of those ancient rituals?
Nice.
Like imprinted on the land itself, you know what I mean?
It's a question that really gets anthropologists and researchers going. It's fascinating. But even if we just, put aside the whole vortex thing for a sec, there's no denying the power of that landscape. Imagine standing there between those massive red cliffs, sun setting, painting the rocks, all these crazy shades of orange and purple.
I've seen the pictures. It's got to be breathtaking for real.
Oh, absolutely. And it just makes you think, could it be the sheer, well, everything, the scale, the beauty, the way the light hits those formations? Could it be messing with our energy fields, even if we don't realize it?
Subconsciously, right.
Exactly. And there's actually a whole bunch of research coming out on how nature affects us. Some
Mhm.
studies even say spending time outdoors can literally change our brainwaves, make us less stressed, more relaxed.
Which would kind of explain why Sedona's like New Age Central. Right. Vortex tours, crystal shops, aura readings, you name it, they got it.
And that's what really gets me. It's like Sedona is this magnet
For real.
for all these practices, a
Hmm.
place where people from all walks of life show up looking for something more, something beyond the everyday.
Like a giant energy experiment happening right now. You got the science folks, the ones who follow those ancient Native American traditions, and then the New Agers, all focused on this one place. So we've got science, ancient traditions, New Age beliefs, all kind of swirling around this one spot. Makes you wonder if you should book a flight, doesn't it?
Yeah, you know what I think is so cool about Sedona?
What's that?
It doesn't matter if you're like a total skeptic or a true believer.
Yeah,
Sedona just has this way of making you ask questions, to explore,
I like that
to connect with something bigger than yourself.
for sure.
Maybe it's just the power of nature, right? Raw, undeniable.
Mm.
Or those echoes of ancient ceremonies we were talking about.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's just having the space to like turn down the noise for a minute, that everyday noise, and just listen to your own intuition.
You know, it's almost like Sedona is this giant mirror
Oh, like that.
reflecting back whatever you bring to it. If you go in with a sense of wonder, that's what you'll find. If you bring skepticism, well,
It'll show you that too, right?
exactly, even your doubts. And maybe, just maybe, when you see those reflections, something unexpected happens, like a shift in how you see things.
That's what it's all about, right?
Totally. A deeper understanding of, well, yourself. Or maybe you just walk away with a newfound appreciation for, how beautiful and mysterious the world can be.
I like that.
Oh, one last thing to chew on. We talked about those who believe in the whole vortex thing and those who don't, right? But it was interesting. A lot of the sources said that the energy in Sedona, it's not constant. It changes with the time of day, the seasons, even, get this, the position of the stars. So I got to ask, if you were heading to this most beautiful place in America, when would you go? And what would you be hoping to, I don't know, experience?
That's a great question for everyone listening to think about.
Thanks for diving into this stuff with me.
Okay, Barry.
Until next time.